Well, hello everyone. Here to show you the Cars Tractor Tip 3 coloring right here. As you see right here, as I went ahead and added about, you see five different characters from the movie Cars. Is so far as the scene is for the tractor tip is where the tractors that would be run around is like for radiator springs it is, and of course they would tip up and then it's like come to say a seat rest it is, but anyway, but talking about right here is you got Mater, and then along with Doc, and then along with the helicopter scene, and then of course you got right here is the desert scene right there, and right here, as you see right here, is you say it's like is a character which I would say usually call him speed runner along with Lightning McQueen along with the audience right here, which most of us will probably think about is that if we would go to like maybe a restaurant such as Burger King or McDonald's or any place like that, a lot of times that they would do like what you call Happy Meal activities, to where that they would offer like what you call for a Happy Meal that they would include like a toy inside of a Happy Meal, and that you would get a Happy Meal, and I could think a couple of times that the Happy Meals that I would get a lot of times maybe would include like a coloring book, or maybe a certain character, and if I can remember right, that I got I used to buy them, and then if I remember right, that a lot of times that they were like car models or anything like that. I think during that time that is whenever Aladdin, that the movie Aladdin was in theaters, and I think Pocahontas or anything like that, any of those characters. But talk about with Cars right here, it's talking about the value meal for like that if you go out shopping, then a lot of times you go into a toy aisle, that a lot of times if you were to find your toy kits like that would have all the characters, and along with the race car track right here. But you say that talk about right here is like with the rainbow colors right here is talk about with like a speed runner, is that what I'm gonna go ahead and do, of course, is draw like see here a little cloud of see if does that I of course, you go ahead. Drew part of this using a marker that is, and then of course just using crayon, and just to add up a little bit more detail. But with some artists, you say, so some people who would want to draw something a lot of times is that it's like draw a scene like this, that more likely that of course I looked at some of the characters, but then of course some I did not look at it, like with Doc right here, that I did not bother to look up the exact art, the description of what he looked like, along with the helicopter, that with the helicopter it's like Doc like with Mater, be riding in a helicopter. It's like if it's like been a while since I've seen the movie, of course, too. But anyway, but you got right here is the tractor right here. But basically, is that I used to always think that it's like if you were to want to draw something, a lot of people would think about is maybe that a good way to start is maybe getting your mind on something that you want to draw, and then of course is to try to draw it, and maybe trace a few things it is, and for whatever reason that I remember that I was maybe given a few tracing pads it is, but then for whatever reason that I was like that it's something that I usually like doing is like I would actually have more, which is a capability of actually drawing it on a blank piece of paper it is, and that's usually what I did. Been doing that since then, but of course you using my creative mind it is, but other than that right here, you get right here is these scenes, it's like turn left and turn right, or turn around. It's like the basic skills about the whenever you're trained how to race it is. But go ahead and take right here is the blue and then the pink, but go ahead and draw like see some colors right here, but basically that this scene right here is like with Lightning McQueen in part of the race right here, and a lot of times I decided to go ahead and add Lightning McQueen that is like for this scene right here, because of knowing about in the movie that I remember that parts where he we wanted to learn the race, and then of course like knowing the basic tricks about racing it is. But other than that, you got to see here, add a little color right here, and then add a little color right here. And we can also think about is that that with the if we were to do a like any type of a homework assignment, it is such as knowing about how many rounds you had to go. It's like so far as the rounds. It's like how many rounds, and see rounds that it's like if it's the first say they call them for the first point for the first lap it is. First lap. Other than that you have right here is like you knowing about is like for the Piston Cup it is. But other than that the thing about is that depending on where the track is, if it's measured by maybe about 1,125 say square feet it is. Anyway, a lot of times it's like I usually think about that what most teachers would probably think about is maybe do like a trivia game is to know about is like about the movie Cars. It's like you do like a trivia game for most of their kids, students in the group or whatever, that if they can maybe pick a color, whatever it is, that they could maybe be tested about a scene of the movie, about who helped Mater. It's like who helped Mater give him the thought about helping Lightning McQueen win the race or anything like that. But basically, it's talking about the details right here. Is that the details about is that the desert they seen right here is knowing about where do you begin with so little information that you have, and in a lot of ways I just think that knowing about whatever colors that you would want to work with. And I could probably go ahead and use orange, and then of course is that use a little bit of say black it is. It's like with depending on what type of crayon that you got to use and stuff, but just add some black right here to the part right up here, and then for the scene, for like that mountain area, I think the cliffs, and then the scene of the desert right here. And then from there, and then of course is the add the orange right here, and then along with is the blue, which a lot of people probably think that in order to be able to show a lot of those scenes, say on paper, it is that I had the time I begin to wonder about that. It's like how do you do that? It's like if I can try doing it with my eyes closed, I can probably think about is to go ahead and just stare at the calculator right here. Is to go ahead and say use the green, and whatever I want to do with the green right here is if I want to go ahead and add a cactus about right here, and then maybe just a little bit of grass. Got the cactus about right here. Okay, well, it's like getting there. Go ahead and add a little bit more of the cactus. And then from here, go ahead and add a little bit of grass right here. Alright, it's like with my eyes closed, that's eyes focused on something else, so you say is that that's what it looks like right there. But other than that, it's like you have right here, the scene right there, it does look like what you call maybe a cactus, or maybe just a place to where that knowing about is like that's the mountains, and then you got right here is like a little like a little layer of grass, and then of course and maybe a few other say like grassland areas right there. Other than that is right here is talking about with Lightning McQueen and along with Speedy, and along right here is like you got the calculator. It's like so far as if you do the math, right? It's like the calculator about how many rounds you say you got to go is known with Lightning McQueen. Lightning McQueen, along with they say is the colors of the rainbow. It is colors of the rainbow is like as much as to know is like takes to know that just for fun. Other than that is like you have right here is like the helicopter scene right here. that for whatever reason, I think that, for most of the time, I think that, anything that was in the color blue that I would maybe see in the toy department, I would think that, that looked neat. And then I guess depending on what it was and depending on how blue it was, that more likely that you could probably think about is it the fact about, maybe the sky blue, maybe how it was designed, or the fact about how much it is. It's like you would always think about that if you were to look in the toy department. If something is the most expensive, then I guess they say is that don't mean that it's necessarily the best thing. It's made, it's built to last a long time. More likely they could probably say that, it really just has to go into care, say that person who really wants to take care, you say, of what they draw is like for what they buy. But other than that, it's like you have right here is for the Cars Coloring and Cars Coloring Tractor Tip Coloring 3.